Hey, everybody, this is John Scott, former Sharks All-Star MVP, and you are listening to another Teal Town USA podcast.
Hey everybody, what it is? Welcome to another episode of the Pucknologists, episode 123 this time here on Teal Town USA. I am AJ_strong on the social media.
Can I interrupt you? We have some extra audio playing.
Oh yeah.
Extra audio playing?
Yeah, there's an echo. We're hearing the show
there
through
goes.
something.
And are you still hearing it?
Yeah.
Now I hear you.
Still hear it.
Oh my god, this is like the Inception podcast.
Echo.
How about
we're
now?
Hearing the show.
There
Still
goes.
hearing it. Something.
Are you serious, man? I've had it with this.
Yeah.
I really have.
Now I hear you.
Has it gone away yet?
Still hear it. No, it's not. It's not gone away.
All right.
Oh my
To hell
god, this
with
is
this.
like the Inception podcast. Do you hear it now, AJ? Okay, I don't hear it now either.
No, I don't either.
Okay, I think we're good.
Well,
Carry.
welcome to the Pucknologists podcast. AJ Strong is your host.
That's what they keep telling me.
With here tonight,
All right.
Rocket Backhander. How are you?
Hi, I'm Rocket Backhander. I'm doing super like glue. How are you?
I'm hockey_jerk, and Brent Burns leads the NHL in ice time. So that's good to know. AJ Strong, I think, wants to return Puck Guy's laptop back to him, but let's check on in and see how we doing.
Oh no, I was getting some
I can see you talking. I can't hear you.
Same.
Really? Here we go. I got it.
We've had 4 games in this past week, right?
I have it. I just had to switch over some
There it
things.
is.
There he is.
Yeah, no, I got stupid shit bouncing out. Again, this is why I wanted to get on here early and do some testing, but that's fine. I'll do it another time. So, let's try this again. Welcome to the Pucknologist, episode 123. I'm AJ_strong on the social media. With me tonight, Rocket Backhander.
I'm super like glue. How are you?
Oh, shit. I was better about 5 minutes ago. And, of course, Hockey Jerk.
We're good. Everything's good. It's all good, man. It's Sunday. We're chilling. It's all right. Everything's good.
Okay, if you say so. That's fine. Oh, sorry. Again, it's like I had to get my audio set up. Now we have to turn on Jerk's camera. There we go. All right. So,
Love it.
hey, remember to subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on social media. If you're on iTunes, we'd appreciate 5 stars and a nice review. And in fact, a little later in the show, I'm going to tell you how you can win some Sharks bobbleheads if you listen on iTunes. So check that out. If you'd like to support the show, use that super chat option during the live shows, or better yet, throw a little something in the Venmo tip jar at Teal Town USA. And of course, we thank you for your support. Remember, if you ever miss a show, want to catch it again, you can find it on your favorite podcast platform and always at Teal Town USA. So this time around, we're going to talk about probably reviewing headshots, the Flames trying to rewind the clock. And so with that, of course, I'm rocking my little C here. We're going to see which bus Hockey Jerk is currently on this week. But I think it's time to get into the Sharks game. Actually, you know what? Hold on. I think we have video of Hockey Jerk trying to decide whether or not he's on the EK65 bus. There it is. Gee, can't really figure it out. Can't make a decision, but we'll get there. So look, 4 games this week. Sharks go 1 what is it? 1-2-1. It's been a long week. Over 4 games, they took 2 of possible 8 points. They scored 10 goals while allowing 15. During the 4 games, Jones started 3 of the 4, posted an .821 save percentage. Sharks are essentially in the basement. If you look at them on points, they're 8th. If you look at point percentage, they're 7th. Either way, it's not where you want to be. And, of course, they've allowed 3 or more goals in 18 of their 22 games so far this season. Now, before we get into the 4 this week, Rocket, just your thoughts overall on a tough week.
56-game preseason, man. I'm still holding on to that. This is a great showcase for the kids. I think that they are still making critical rookie errors, but in a silver lining sort of gratitude way, I feel it's better that they're making these terrible freaking errors in a garbage season, so they'll have this already smoothed out next year, so their play will be better. I feel, I don't know, like I feel for this season, it's garbage, discombobulated garbage that kind of stinks like rotten fruit a little bit. But in the larger picture, it's all right. Gonna get there.
Jerkman?
Yeah, I think, it all started really well with that Colorado game. I was feeling pretty good. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm like, we're cooking with gas now. We're on to something here. And even the Vegas game, I mean, the first Vegas game, it kind of looked like everything was going to be on track, and it wasn't. But tough, very deflating, the air right out of the balloon, if you will. But I don't know. I mean, it's still, I said it last week, but like last year, everything was bad, right? This year, I actually think the Sharks have some good, facets to their game. And, goaltending is like, right there behind them with the knife pressed against the back, ready to go. So it's just, it's another brutal effort. Like, it makes you wonder where this team would be at if their goaltending was average.
Yeah.
Hell, even below average, because right now it's catastrophic.
So in Game 1 versus Colorado, a 6-2 win for the Sharks. Obviously this started a little slow. Sharks get down 2-0. Although the fun part about this one, let's just hit this up for a quick second. After the end of 1, right? Because Gerard would kind of juke out Marc-Edouard Vlasic just as a power play expires. The Sharks are up 1-0 on a goal that Jones absolutely needs to have. But the point is the Sharks, after one period, were up 1-0. However, during the first intermission, NBC was talking about this game, and they said, hey, let's throw up some, comments from the peanut gallery, right? Let's post some stuff that's coming in from Facebook and Twitter. And so, hey, Martin Jones hasn't given up a goal yet. That's a moral victory in a game that's already down 1-0. Like, I guess people that get fired from Fanatics go to work for NBCSN. I don't know. But solid there. I thought that was good for a quick giggle. Vlasic gets burned again. This was not a good game for Vlasic. He ended up getting benched essentially. Vlasic even or Shang saying the defenseman did not take a shift in the final 5 of the second period. Never left the bench. Didn't see anything awkward happen to him. And let's also remember, Bob Bugner called Pickles too average for too long recently. So maybe that was a little, cattle prod to the backside to say, hey, get it going. Then in this one, we got Kadri essentially scoring on his own net, which was accredited to Balsers. That one was fun. But, of course, the story here, yeah, John Leonard got a breakaway. That's fine. Kane, empty netter. But Jesus Christ, Erik Karlsson has finally scored a goal. Mm-hmm. So, aside from Vlasic playing a season-low 13 minutes, I did think the team got better as this game progressed, and which would be attributed if you look at the score. When you score 6 unanswered after letting in 2, chances are you got better as the game went on. That's what I'm saying. Is this the first win in 15 years wearing the original Sharks crest? Because it feels like it is.
Yeah. You're right. I believe. Yeah, the last time I don't know the exact date that the Sharks last won in that jersey. Of course, you could look it up, but yeah,
Sometime in
since
April 2007, I'm thinking.
I was gonna say the last time that they wore that logo on a regular basis was the last time they won wearing it, because as we know, they brought it back for 5 games 5 years ago and they lost all 5. So huge, if you ask me.
Yeah. Another thing of note is Logan Couture nearly got decapitated in this game, and right in front of the ref, no call. But after that one, you had to feel somewhat good. And, we talk about EK finally scoring, and so they, of course, talked to the defenseman afterwards.
Okay, Erik, we know you're a veteran, all-star, and all those great accolades, but was there a gratification to get that first goal of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been scoring very many goals since I got here. Why, I don't know. That's just the way it is sometimes. But yeah, it's always nice to score goals. It's one of the reasons why you fell in love with the game and decided to play hockey full time when you were a kid. So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing else really to say about it. Everybody wants to score goals.
I love his comment of, yeah, I want to score goals. I don't know why I haven't been able to. I mean, I don't know. Maybe shoot more. I don't know. Could happen, I suppose. But
So what you're saying, AJ, is that if you shoot the puck, your chances of the puck going in increase?
Yes, when compared to not shooting the puck.
I mean, do you have proof?
It's what jerk. It's what they say.
Oh, of course. Okay.
They.
Yes.
But
do they know people?
They do know people, and many people are saying this.
They know stuff and things.
Yeah. But let's hear EK's thoughts on the injury.
As far as you personally, obviously with the groin injury, you got to be careful. Is it easy to put that in the back of your mind and not think about it at all, or does the hesitancy creep in at all? Because it sure hasn't looked like it.
No, I can't go anywhere else. I can't get any higher. This is where, it's the end of the road for me. It's just putting it all on the line all the time. If I break, I break. It's nothing I can do about it. I put in the time to make sure that I'm, as prepared and strong as possible, and stuff like that you can't really control. So it's not something that I worry about at all. You got to try and give it your all and realize that I worked really hard to get to where I am, and I'm at the top of the level right now. So there's no holding back.
Now, I think the fun part to take out of this comment from EK is the fact that he sat there and said, I work really hard, to, be in, at my best strength and blah, blah, blah. Even though Chief does have a notorious reputation for being a slow starter and playing himself into shape. I thought that was kind of funny. The best part, though, is at the end of it where he says, I feel like I'm at my top level. Chief, you got 7 points. You're 81st in points among defensemen. Drew Doughty, who has fans of the Kings trying to run him out of town due to his underperforming contract, he has 19 points with 6 goals and is 4th on that list. But top level, bro. Top level.
Well, you know what? Just because his ceiling is lower than everybody else's doesn't mean it's not a ceiling.
There you go.
You just got to duck.
Hey, you know what? I'm just, you know what? If his ceiling is, somebody else's first floor, hey, whatever. You said the Sharks were in the basement, so.
Nice. So we followed up with a second game against Colorado. This one a 4-0 loss. Jones gets the start again. Blickfeld, his season debut. Sorensen a scratch. And, we'll get to the Blickfeld thing in a second. The Sharks, once again, and this is a theme among all 4 games, largely owned in the circle. Jesus, do they miss Tomas Hertl, who evidently is the only one who can win faceoffs above 50%. Kane in this one did not have a good game. I felt like he got caught looking on the Rantanen goal that made it 1-0. In the third, Gerard would score through Kane, just not having a good time. But the thing we're all going to talk about, Blickfeld takes a match penalty for checking McKinnon to the head. 15 seconds in, Landeskog scores. Now, to the Sharks' credit, for the remaining 4:45, they didn't let anything in, so I guess that's nice. But later, Rantanen scores an easy one. It's 4-0. You can't blame Jones when you don't score, but yikes. There's definitely a little bit of blame to go around. I'm just saying. And now, before we get into the Blickfeld hit, listen to what Brent Burns had to say about it.
You don't want to see anybody get hurt. He doesn't want to hurt anybody. You got one of the best players in the world. He skates low, skates hard. Like I said, I haven't seen it, but I don't think I know he's not trying to hurt him. So it's hard. I mean, you put the players in a hard spot, because then you say, well, he's not finishing his checks. Well, what do you want him to do there? You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that can change. You can change angles, you can change stuff, but you got one of the best players in the world. You're trying to take away time and space, and sometimes you got to be physical. I know Blitchy's not trying to hurt anybody there, but he's got to play a hard game to be successful to get established for himself. So it's a fast play. So you got to take care of guys. But in saying that too, you got to be careful, because there's guys that are trying to establish themselves and then they have to play a physical game, and you can't just say, well, you should stick check that guy, because how many times do we see on a highlight when somebody tries to stick check McKinnon and he embarrasses them, you know?
So you guys have seen the hit. Rocket, I'll go to you first. What's your take on the whole thing?
It is what it is. Like I said, rookie errors, just sloppy stuff. I don't really want to talk too much about it. I don't want to analyze it, and kind of been done to death by now.
But that's what I'm here for, jerk.
I just think, I don't think it was intentional. You know what I mean? It wasn't, premeditated or targeted or anything like that. But like Rocket said, it is what it is. It was a shot to the head. That is a penalizable, if that's a word, offense. That is a suspendable offense. And, there are some Sharks fans who are upset because, they don't think, they say, well, oh, he didn't intend to do it. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but he did it. That's something that, we've talked about before, where it's like, hey, you know what? You can do whatever you want, but don't be surprised if somebody comes calling for you after you do what you did. And, that's what happened. So Blickfeld gets dinged. Again, I don't think it was on purpose. It was just an unfortunate situation where, Blickfeld's going in, finish the check, and McKinnon kind of pulls up because he sees the contact coming, and, Blickfeld tags him in the mouth. It is what it is. And, his suspension is now served, and whatever. I don't think Blickfeld would have helped the Sharks win either of those two games. As much as I like him as a player, I don't think he would have been the difference, unfortunately.
I mean,
You don't think you would have been the straw that stirs the drink?
No, unfortunately, because, you can have as many straws as you want, but when the cup doesn't have any liquid in it.
That's exactly what I was thinking too, man.
I mean, Chief does lead the Barracuda right now, points at 9, but yeah, I'm not thinking he's going to be the offensive gateway that opens things up for the Sharks. But I'm a little tilted about the hit, and it's because I just was it a penalty? Absolutely, totally. You want that called every single time. And I don't want to go full whataboutism on this. I'm not calling out the refs on this. It was absolute what they called, and they went and reviewed it. Sure, I don't have a problem. The thing that I have a problem with is, I don't know. Did we all forget Hertl, the shot he took right to the head versus St. Louis, or the Justin Braun hit, Kevin LeBanc getting tagged right into the head from OEL versus the Yotes? None of that was met with supplemental discipline. And in fact, I think a couple of those weren't even called penalties in the game. Yet we remember Joe Thornton getting a game for hitting Nosek, or Erik Karlsson getting 2 for hitting Wagner. And were all of those penalties? Absolutely. I just don't get why Department of Player Safety can't figure that part out. If you don't, tell me, jerk, that I'm not imagining this. There have been times when something has happened in a game and it got that's just 2 minutes, and it was just but then DLPS the next day looks at it and goes, no, that was actually really bad, and we're going to give you a game or 2 games for that.
Yeah, it's definitely happened. I mean, there have also been instances where no penalty is called and a suspension is still given out. I mean, it's I don't think I don't mean to like bemoan player safety in this instance because I think Blickfeld absolutely deserved to be suspended, but you make a point where it's just like sometimes we perceive a hit to be egregious and nothing comes of it, and then something seems maybe a little more flagrant and it's like boom, we're going to throw the book at you. So it's just not consistent, and I think we kind of saw the same thing at least previously with the goaltender. What is goaltender interference, where it's like it was up until a few years ago, it was at the referee's discretion. Whatever referee was reffing that particular game, it was at the referee's discretion to make that call based on how they interpreted the rule. And that's when everybody got all wound up about it. And so the NHL says, okay, we're just going to write what goaltender interference is, and all of our referees have to follow this standard, regardless of their interpretation. And I think the same thing needs to be done with Department of Player Safety. Have somebody who, doesn't make any decisions on how many games to assign or anything like that, but kind of just somebody who's like, I don't even know, Tom from the mailroom, hey, can you look at this real quick and let me know what you think? Like, just do something. You know what I mean?
Goaltender interference is the same thing as like, what is it? Obscenity in the art world. It's like, I can't tell you what it is, but I know it when I see it.
Sure.
It's essentially what it is. But Jerk, let me ask you one more question on this. If a scrum, if a scrum, a melee, a little brouhaha, if you will,
a fracas,
right? Yes. If that occurs on the ice and a player jumps over the boards, kind of get in on that, isn't that player supposed to get a penalty? In fact, isn't that like an automatic suspension?
It's a automatic 1-game suspension. Yeah.
Now I ask you this because can you do me a favor? Can you count the white helmets that are on the ice right here? Because I see 6. The reason why I see 6 is because Rantanen jumped over the boards.
Did he jump over the boards before or after the scrum started?
Oh, it was kind of like when the scrum was starting, but bottom line is it's not like he was in the middle of a change because there's 5 other guys out there. Like, he didn't come off. No one was coming off at that time.
Right. I don't know. It's tough because and again, it goes back to a judgment call where it's like you look at a player, it's like, okay, is he jumping off to get in the action, or like, is it a stoppage and he's changing and then the brouhaha starts? You know what I mean? Because that's what
if you go back and look, he kind of jumps over just as it's all starting. Like, people are running over to go kill Blickfeld, and he's screaming about it on his way over. Either way, it's just kind of like, buddy, you haven't made a change. You shouldn't be on the ice. Get the hell off. That should have been a suspension. That was something else that was missed by the officials.
I just remember a few years ago John Scott getting suspended for a similar instance, exactly like you're mentioning, and the wording on the suspension was, for entering the ice on a non-legal line change.
There you go. Should have been the same. But
I'd have to see the tape too.
There you go. Go back, look at the tape. Will somebody, Steven, provide Jerk with the tape, please. A couple people, it's when I brought up the Hertl hit versus St. Louis that went uncalled, which was a very similar hit. It was just fun to see, the social media people on, the Vegas people. Oh my God, Sharks fans are the biggest whiners.
Okay, I hate to get into the trenches about who's the bigger whiner, but
dude, every fan base has whiners. Every
true,
one.
But also let's not forget that when the Sharks and the Blues met in the conference final 2 years ago, there were some Vegas fans who were so bent about the 5-minute power play that they went to St. Louis to cheer against the Sharks.
I mean, yeah, dude.
Again, this is not a, well, I'm this, so you're that. I'm just, we're just pointing out the facts here.
Dude, and it's like,
I'm pretty sure they had signs, too, that said anyone but San Jose.
Uh-huh.
Oh, jeez.
And then again, there was Chief out in Lake Tahoe a couple weeks ago holding a sign that said anybody but Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good rivalry. They're shitiots on both sides. You like that? Shitty idiots, just shitiots. Anyway, but dude, there are Sabres fans still complaining about Hull's foot in the crease 20 some odd years later.
Hey, I'm not even a Sabres fan, and I complain about that.
See, so it's like, Chief, you know, look, everybody has their vocal people that are upset, and every single fan base thinks at one point or another they got jobbed by the refs or Department of Player Safety. Every single one. So, and just the thing I always get a laugh out of is that during these what we'll charitably call spirited debates, it always devolves into which team has more cups or some other lame measuring stick, and it totally goes off what the original point was. But it's just, look, every fan base has morons. That's just the way it is.
And I'll tell you this too, is to kind of put a bow on this segment. I guarantee you, every single person who brings up the how many cups argument, they themselves have 0 cups.
Mm-hmm. And it should be noted that Blickfeld, due to, again, idiot fans, set his Instagram to private because so many people were coming on, saying stupid stuff and fuck, fourth liner, nobody trying to take out a superstar, blah, blah, blah. And, and there was far more worse things that were said. But, yeah, he goes private just because of that. And it's like, you really think a guy trying to break in the NHL is thinking, hey, you know what? To get my career going, I'm going to go try to kill a superstar. And meanwhile, Ovechkin, jams his stick into Trent Frederick's twig and berries and gets $5K. Which would be like what, you and me getting have to cost a nickel? Wait a minute. You're good with numbers, jerk. What would that cost us to stick a guy in the twig and berry?
Yeah, so I compared Ovechkin, I took, Ovechkin's fine versus his salary and scaled it down to my salary, and that would be the equivalent of me getting fined $23.
Now, are there people that you would pay $23 to stick?
Hey, you know what? I'm not going to name names,
one of them.
But I'm not going to name names. One of them might be on this podcast.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. So we move on to a pair versus Vegas, a 5-4 overtime loss, and then a 4-0 loss. Jones starts the first one, gets yanked for the 5th time in 15 games, or I should say in 15 starts. Dubnyk would start the second one, but to do the first one, first retro reverse game of the season. They got these reverse retro jerseys that we've waited so long to see in the wild. Holy crap, do the numbers on the back of those things need to be white? Hashtag that's why it's got to be white. For us, always asking, why is it got to be white? That's why, because I couldn't read it. The best part, Randy Hahn calling out Marleau scoring and then realizing it was LeBanc because he couldn't read the numbers on the back of the jersey. And Chief is in the building, man.
It's actually funny because, when I was watching that moment, Randy Hahn said Marleau, and so in my head, the wheel is turning, and I'm like, okay, Marleau's fast, and so I see LeBanc he wasn't, lumbering up the ice, but he wasn't exactly moving very quickly either. I'm just watching, and I'm thinking it's Marleau, and I'm like, come on, you old fuck, skate. And I realized it was LeBanc, and I was like, oh, okay.
Well, and then in both games previous to the game, Curtis Gabriel and Ryan Reeves gab at each other before the game. Like, you knew something was going to happen. So insanely pointless. Anyway, over these two, it was just tough. I will say the fun part, look, there's nothing you can say about these games really where you just sit there and go, look, Vegas is number 1 in the division for a reason. They've got a large lead on everybody else for a reason. They've got talent, and you've got Marc-Andre Fleury playing out of his gourd right now. I mean, the guy they're talking about Vezina again for this guy.
Well,
the Sharks led in, to what, they were down 2-0 after the first, and Couture got a 2-minute penalty after Pacioretty hits him with that, interferes with them, and somehow Couture ends up with 2 for roughing because he went after Patches for the hit because the officials didn't call it.
Yeah. just to give you, if you turned on the first game, if you were wondering how it was going to go, that hit kind of told you everything, which it could have happened to anybody. You know what I mean? But just you see that situation early on in the game, and it's just kind of like, ugh, is it going to be one of these games? You know what I mean?
I was close.
What I thought was interesting, I don't know if you have it on your notes or not, but in the last week, and obviously I'm going back to the 7-6 game against St. Louis Blues. Have you noticed that in that game and the second Vegas game, Dubnyk was in the net no matter how much the wheels fell off? But in the first Vegas game, Martin Jones lets up 3, and it's like, you're done. Hit the showers.
Well, yeah, but hold on. You're talking about that St. Louis game. I think the reason why Dubnyk stayed in as long as he did, and I think even Bugner said as much, is the fact that like the game never got out of hand. You know, like it was 1-0, then it was 1-1, then it was 2-1. Like it kept it. There was never, if memory serves, I don't think St. Louis got ahead ever in that game by more than 1 goal. So I think like
no, you're correct. You're absolutely right. The point I'm just making is like, okay, so you know, Dubnyk's letting in goals left and right, and he's allowed to stay in the net and work it out. Jones lets in more goals than we're comfortable with, and it's like, boom, pull him. So I kind of think if you want to read the tea leaves a little bit, you know, and obviously you could pair that with what Bugner said about Jones after the game against the LA Kings last month.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's any secret how Boogie is feeling about his goaltenders right now. I mean, they're both not playing particularly well compared to other goalies in the league, but it's obvious who the better goalie is right now.
Yeah. Well,
like I hope to God Almighty that Dubnyk starts tomorrow.
You're right.
In turn, does this go towards maybe seeing a change in goaltender coaching?
I don't think it's. I think AJ makes the point where it's like the Shark. Since Jones has been here, the Sharks have had 3 different individuals work with Jones, and these are good people. You know, Johan Hedberg, Nabokov, and then Adam. AJ, help me.
Something like Francilla or something?
Francilla, yeah. You've had 3 people work with Jones, and Jones can't figure it out. Now, since people have started talking about it a year and a half ago or whatever, and just in general, I've never been somebody who's like, oh, buy him out. Like, that's an option. Buy him out. Pull the plug. But we are to that point. Like, if the Sharks, see what you want about how the Sharks are doing in the standings or whatever, if they want a hope and a prayer to try and at least be a competitive team, Jones is not going to get you there. Like that first bad year, oh, it's a weird year, and then whatever. That second bad year, okay, we don't like it, but he turned around before the pause. It's 3 years of dog shit goaltending. And, you know, I don't like to swear on this podcast because we're for the kids, but good Lord, man. Like, and it's the same thing that AJ and I talk about with Erik Karlsson. It's like, you know, talk to me again when there's year-to-year consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And we're seeing it with Jones. And I said, I'm not the buyout guy, but buy him out. Because it's not going to get any better. You've had 3 guys work with him, and it's not working out. So just pull the chute and move on with your life.
Well, in the second, Marchessault would trip EK65. I thought that was a bad call, to be honest with you. But Burns would score on the power play, but everybody kept playing because no one noticed it. And then finally the goal horn went off to tell everybody, hello, everybody, there was a goal scored there. And then later Donato takes one of the weakest slashing calls. It was not a good week for the refs in San Jose. I got to tell you, man, they just some of the stuff that was let go while the other things that were called, it was just woof. And I'm not blaming the officials for the Sharks having a crappy week because there was bad stuff on both sides. It was pretty silly. But I will say that one of the fun things was the Vegas. I listened to a little bit of the whoever the people are that are the Vegas version of like Brody and Curtis.
It's Darren Millard and Stormy something.
All right.
Daniels?
I mean, hey, it's the right city for that.
Not that one.
but they were kind of slamming the Sharks jersey, saying that they were bland and it's like, okay, sorry, a different team already decided to use gold lame, so we couldn't. Sorry, but the fact that they were, kind of bitching about that, and I'm just sitting there going, oh, they're kind of bland and they're kind of hard to read, and it's like, yes, you're right, absolutely. In fact, the Sharks should play with C3PO gold helmets that can be seen from space. But sure.
Well, and
snakeskin.
I don't know if it's just against the Sharks or if against every other team, but their folks over there, that's how they operate. I can recall a preseason game from last season, Arizona and the Vegas, and it was like, oh, and after tonight's game, Vegas will go to San Jose and they'll play the first of 2 preseason games against the Sharks, and then it's like a beat, and it's like, and I'm sure Vegas is going to want some revenge. We all know what happened last year, but we're not going to get into that. It's like,
sounds like
it's like, okay. Like,
would you like some chips with that salt? Jesus God.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Let's not pretend like, our people are innocent. I mean, there are individuals on this podcast who have an opinion about the pre and post game show, but if you're going to do it, don't be obvious.
You're right. Well, the one thing that we do need to review about this is the fact that Reeves took a hit from Gabriel that actually had Reeves leave early. Let's just take a look at this hit for a hot second and see what we see. Now, here comes Reeves, and he goes high. He, the phrase that Drew Remenda hates, he leaves his skates. No, he doesn't, but he does kind of jump off. Like, she launches himself. You see him jump up to get I think if he stays lower or he stays on the ice, maybe he doesn't take that shot. But the fact is, it's like he left the game for the rest, for every part of it, the remaining part of the game. And there was all the speculation. Will he make it back for the next game and a lower body injury and blah, blah, blah. I think what nobody was saying, because, Hetty is going to say, well, it looked like he might have taken a skate inside the inner thigh and blah, blah, blah. Let's just rewind this for a hot second. Look where Chief takes the skate. I think the berries got split and he was done for the night, guys.
Well,
that comes in as just either that or he got a second hole in the back end.
Well, I was going to say, just to quote Office Space, watch out for your cornhole, buddy.
Yeah. I think the taint got tilted right there is what happened. But
you taint lying.
Mm-hmm. So, it's all said and done. It's 2 shitty games. I mean, what are you going to do? You're talking one of the worst teams in the Pacific versus the best team in the Pacific. Best team in the West. And following the game, Marchessault said, we used to have a really good rivalry, but now it's not as powerful as it was 2 years ago. That tends to happen when one of the teams starts to get bad, pal. I hate to break it to you. How
dare he? How dare he? I'm offended because I'm a Sharks fan. No.
I like how Marchessault, though, says this as if, Vegas is like some 40-year powerhouse.
Well, I like how he says that as if that's some
not true.
Foreign concept. Well, he says it as if like that's some foreign concept where it's like, chances are, if you're playing a shitty team, it's not going to be a good game. Like, that's not some big. It's not some big secret.
Well, no, it's so funny you say that. And just to do a quick flashback of the football variety, there was a time when the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers in late 80s, early 90s. Well, no, early 90s. Well, okay. Late 80s, 49ers are a powerhouse team, and Dallas sucks. In fact, I think in 90 or 91 somewhere that Dallas won maybe one game or something like that. It was really bad. But they flipped the franchise around, and within a couple years, Dallas wins 3 of 4 Super Bowls. And the only reason why the 49ers didn't win any of those is because Dallas knocked them out in the championship game. It was literally those 2 powerhouse teams for about 5 years, and then everybody else. And so, of course, that was a great rivalry. What's it been like the last 2 decades? It's been
The
shit.
Patriots, and everyone else.
Yeah, well, it's been shit because both the teams suck. And
Well,
when one gets a
it's
little
the
good, the other one
Patriots
still sucks.
And everyone else.
Well, I'll do you one better because I'm not super versed on ping pong, obviously, but think about.
I don't know why, but go ahead.
Think about from 2007 to 2013, Sharks Ducks.
Mm-hmm.
That was huge, volatile, especially when they played in the playoffs in 2009. That was like, oh, Ducks are the biggest rival. And now, like, I forget the Ducks are in our division. Like, that's how far we've come.
Yeah, dude. And if memory serves, the last time the Sharks played the Ducks in the playoffs, Sharks swept them.
Yeah, dude. Well, and you know what? Sharks did that to Anaheim. They did the same thing to Vancouver. Basically, if you get swept in the playoffs by the Sharks, you're destined to miss the playoffs for at least the next 3 years because it's happened to the Ducks and Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
So, but and even the same thing, Vancouver, dude. I gave a shit more about Vancouver's, rivalry level than I did LA, and Vancouver wasn't even the Sharks division at the time, and that's fizzled out too.
Oh, you right. There was a hot time where the Sharks and the Red Wings had quite the rivalry.
Yeah, so to put a bow on this, it's not some big secret. Like, if you're a bad team, you're not going to have an exciting matchup.
Mm-hmm. So final notes on all 4 of these. Like I said, Jones starts 3, goes 1-1-1. I don't know if Dubnyk giving up those 7 to the Blues last weekend had that much of an impact where Bugner was like, yeah, 3 straight. Why not? Let's do it. With Hertl out due to the Rona over the last 5, Sharks have been absolutely owned in the circle. They've won just 43% of their draws, and it's tough to get offense going when you have to chase the puck. I guess on the good side is the Sharks did put up, from the defense on the team, put up 7 points this week. However, during these 4, the Sharks were outshot 132-106. But let's get into the fun stuff, shall we? First off, I'm going to put the question to both of you, and I'll start with you, Rocket. Is it detail-oriented or detail-orientated?
It's detail-oriented.
Jerk?
It depends on how Brett Hedican says it.
Mm-hmm. Well, Brett Hedican says orientated. I don't know, but then again, he doesn't want to be a butt kicker. He wants to be a kick butter. Let's move on.
Sorry there, Hunter.
Maybe he just likes potatoes.
I guess. And he's trying to kick the... Okay, let's move on. Karlsson has 1 good game, scores a goal. Everyone somehow forgets the first 15 he's played this season. How about that?
What are you talking about?
56-game preseason.
What are you talking about? F you. Oh, boy. Anyway, since Vegas has come in, the Sharks versus Vegas at SAP, there's 1 win. They're 1-6-2 in the regular season. So I don't know what rivalry Marchessault's is talking about. But
hey, speaking of stats, and I think you might be getting there, but I thought it was interesting that Vegas has won in San Jose this year more than San Jose has.
Man, that hurts.
It was deflating.
The Sharks have won at the Tank twice. Vegas has won at the Tank thrice this year.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, dude, that's going to be on your shirt next week, buddy.
just the word thrice.
Thrice.
Yeah. Hey, did you know through the first 22 games of last season, the Sharks had 21 points? Right now, through 22 games, the Sharks have 19 points. And now here's Hockey Jerk to tell you why these Sharks will be better than last year's.
Well, number 1, there's still time before the end of the season. Number 2, the forwards, as I said last week, the forwards are playing better this year than they were last year. It's not, it's not consistent unless you're Logan Couture. But everybody's chipping in some way or another, except for Marcus Sorensen. The only thing, never mind. So I think the offense is better. I think The defense, Burns' dash 15 will tell you otherwise, but I think he, in his defensive game, I think it's tightened up a lot better. I think Burns' dash 15 is just a product of being on the ice the most against the best players. I mean, that's, if you're out there more, you have a higher chance of being scored on. Again, these are not foreign concepts, people.
Hold on, from Finn in the chat, it says, for real, AJ, people used to do that with Jones too. He'd get a shutout and somehow it'd erase the crap, the next 20 crap games he put up, or the previous 20.
Now we're getting to the point where he has a bad game and it erases all the good games he's played. So
not bad, yeah.
But this, like I said before, last year everything was a disaster. This year the forwards actually look dialed in. It's the goaltending.
No,
and that's just what it is.
That's like saying it went from like a Category 5 hurricane to a Category 3 hurricane. It's still a freaking hurricane. It's not good.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, you're absolutely right. It's it's the same thing. Like, would you rather me punch you in the face twice or once? You're still getting punched in the face.
Well, it depends.
Well, coming this week, you get one versus St. Louis. This is a rescheduled game from February 26th. The Sharks are 2-2-1 in 5 games against the Blues this season, and I'm sure that Puck Guy has something going with Let's Go Blues Radio, and if he doesn't, he should.
You said St. Louis is on the schedule? This is our trap game right here.
Nice.
I'm just saying, the Sharks are going to win 3-0. It's going to be awesome.
Well, here that's going to be the fun part, because the Blues are 5-4-1 over their last 10, but they are 10-2-1 on the road. They've been road warriors this season. They're currently 3rd in the division, and then the Sharks have 2 on the weekend versus Anaheim. The Sharks are 2-0-1, so they have not lost in regulation to the Ducks, who are currently last in the division. 1-6-3 over their last 10. And dude, if the Sharks don't finally come up with back-to-back wins, 2 consecutive wins when you're playing the Ducks consecutively, holy shit, are things worse than we imagined.
Well, yeah. You kind of were talking last week about, this was going to be the week from hell, 2 games against Vegas, 2 games against Colorado. But they took one of the Colorado games and they got a point against Vegas. So what is that, 3 out of 8? I mean, that's not ideal, but at the very least, they're attempting to keep pace despite playing poorly. So, like you said, St. Louis, the Sharks love beating St. Louis, or at least playing well against St. Louis. And, if you can take care of Anaheim, all of a sudden you might be on track. But I don't even want to say it, but like you said, 2 in a row against Anaheim, could this be make or break for the season?
Oh, I would think so. And, and as good as Colorado has been, they didn't have Makar for both of those games, but if you go and look at the winning percentage of the teams that Colorado has beaten so far, I mean, it's not that great. I'm going to be real interested to see how Colorado reacts once the playoffs get going and they face somebody outside of the division. These playoffs could actually, because of all the in-division games, boy, once you're out of the division, you could see some real interesting hockey, let me tell you. Oh, let's just dive into the numbers real quick here. Statistically, last 5 games, Sharks are 4 for 18, 22% on the power play, 88% on the PK. It's slightly better than on the season, where they've been 79 on the PK and 17 on the power play. Oh, my God. All right, Martin Jones, 3.84 goals against, 879 save percentage. Both of those numbers, 51st out of 52. Dubnyk,
awesome.
Dubnyk, not much better. 3.49 goals against with an 890 save percentage. And at least over the last 5 games, the scoring has been, we all remember when the Sharks used to get owned in the second. It's gotten a lot more even. They've been outscored 21-16 over the last 5 games. But if you look at it period by period, they actually get better as the games go on. But what are you going to do? So who's hot and who's not? Who's hot? EK65. Go ahead, jerk. dance your little dance, have your little parade. When you post 3 points in a week after having 4 points in 2 months, you're hot. Go for it.
Well, and you know what? That's the point of the game. It's not who's good and who's bad. It's who's hot and who's not.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point. You know what? Hey, you can be hot one day out of the year and not the rest of the year. But in the last week, Erik Karlsson, 1 goal, 2 assists in 4 games, excuse me. So obviously coming alive offensively, but I thought he's looked dialed in even on the defensive side of the puck. You know, he was +3 and +1 and then even for 2 games. So no minuses in the last week, which is awesome.
It's huge.
Yeah, but he just looks, you know, there were a couple instances, once against Vegas, I believe once against Colorado too, where the puck's dangerously close to the net. He's there to clear it out, no problem. I still think he's not, you know, he's not running guys over, but he's not himself getting run over either, which I think is huge as well. You know, he's at least making a point to, you know, if he has the puck, he's not going to get bumped off of it. He's going to make you take it from him. And I just think all around his game looks good. I think everybody wants the offense to go up even more, but it's a good start, and you just hope it's a sign of things to come because it's going to be needed, you know? So I think he's been really good. I'm not going to say this is the best he's been in a teal sweater, but, you know, you could say top 5 stretches, maybe.
Well, and you mentioned it, dude. The Sharks have allowed 15 goals in 4 games, and Erik Karlsson is a plus. It wasn't a dash in any of those games.
If I knew the whole time.
This is where the bar has been set, people.
I want a refund.
Despite a -3 for all 3 of these players versus Game 2 of Colorado, I would say LeBanc, Kane, and Couture are kind of hot. Couture, star of the month for the West, 8 combined points this week. Give you that. And that's about it.
That line has been fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. Anybody else that you would say?
I think Shimmick's played good. You know, but you expect him to play good. He's a bottom pairing defenseman. You don't expect him to razzle dazzle. So,
yeah. Simmering?
Sure.
Not boiling over.
Like you said, though, slim pickings.
Yeah, dude. On the not list, Dylan Gambrell, sir. Hertl's been missing time because of COVID. You've had a chance to step up, and you are not producing, sir. Please do something soon.
Offensively, yes. Defensively, I still think he's there. I still think he's doing good.
Well, it's you trying to say he's like the inverse of Kevin LeBanc? Where it's like, man, you know, he could put up goals, but he couldn't play defense, and Gambrell seems to be the opposite of that. Yeah,
I don't know. I just think, you know, like you said, he's getting more ice time. You know, he's up at least a couple minutes since Hertl has been gone. You know, but to your point, you need the offense to be there. But even so, I mean, I feel he's out there killing penalties. You know, he's still. I mean, everybody on the face-off dot is doing poorly, but, you know, he's still in there. He's still getting face-off. So I agree with you. He is on the not list just because the offense isn't there. But I think you turn the burner down to 1 on him, I would say. Like, it's still warm, but you're trending towards cool.
No, that's when don't even leave him on the burner. You take that dish out and you put it in the microwave. And you just let it sit there to stay warm.
Put a paper towel over it.
Yep, exactly.
Also not hot, Brent Burns. 1 goal, 1 assist, -8 in 4 games, currently -15.
Oh.
That's a little tough. Let's see. Let me see if I can pronounce this. Martin Jones. Not hot. Pulled for the 5th time in 15 starts. You're getting pulled every 3rd game you start. You allowed 3 goals on 8 shots this week. I mean,
you're gonna hurt yourself if you keep aggressively pulling your Joner.
Dude, I just want to like start like I don't know, keeping my beer near Jones because he's so damn cold. It's like, yeah,
Well,
nice and frosty.
I mean, dude, it's like I said, Dubnik is getting lit up and he finishes the whole game. Jones lets in one goal too many and he's out. It's like I said before. That tells you everything you need to know about how Bugner feels about the goalies and how you feel about the goalies too, AJ. It's but specifically Jones. Like you're right. He's still in the freezer. Like they haven't taken him out yet.
Well, speaking of which, finally we end with, or at least I'm ending with, if you want to name anybody else, which I'm sure you'll have at least a few. Yeah, dude, Finn. Oh, I love it in the chat. Yeah, can the Sharks get David Ayers?
No.
Oh, God.
I appreciate the gag. Finally for me, dude, Marcus Sorensen. I mean, he goes from playing a couple of games, healthy scratch. Now he's got the Rona. I mean, dude, talk about an ice cube.
You're your guy, dude.
Dude,
that was dude. You go
I'm
back 2 years ago. He was your buddy.
Dude,
he was your buddy.
Stripping that Sorensen jersey. Ugh. Oh, so pathetic. Anyway, so that's, we got a little stat heavy, and that's something that I'll fix in the future. But anyway, let's move on to announcements. Real quick here. Former in-game host John Root announced he's joining Fanatics to host their live shows. I think he did something with, some former 49er recently. I mean, good luck to him. Hosting, that's his thing. I certainly hope the Sharks don't backfill his replacement for him at the tank, because I just don't think that. I've been very vocal. I don't need an MC to tell me when to cheer at a hockey game. I don't. But good luck. Hopefully he can help with quality control over there. If you use Dish or Sling TV to watch Sharks games, or Giants, or A's, or Warriors, that's going to end on April 1st. So, fool, you better get yourself on the R network. You can ask.
Do people even still have Dish Network?
I guess so.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know it was still a thing.
I was gonna say, I think I had Dish Network when I was a kid, and then my mom was like, "This is shit. Like, let's get something else."
We talked about the Black History Month warm-up jerseys the Sharks wore a couple weeks ago, and on Friday the Sharks wore their second warm-up of the season, a tribute to their 30th, and the sales were a little different. Now, there were some that still went cheaper than you might have expected, but there were a few that definitely went higher than what I expected. So, again, we'll keep a pin on this. And then finally, I mean, what has to be the funniest announcement from the week that came out was the Golden Knights got booted out of the Fairmont Hotel after they arrived here because the Fairmont is filing for bankruptcy. Please, no Evander Kane jokes.
I just want to know, where did they transfer to? Like,
it's not as if San Jose is lacking in hotel rooms.
They went across the street to, they went across the street. Okay.
I was fine with that. So around the NHL, oh my God, there's a couple fun ones this week. Let's just, we got to get a sounder for that. So the
that one was fine. You should just keep using that one.
The Calgary Flames fired Jeff Ward from head coaching duties and bring back Darryl Sutter, signing old bitter beer face to a 3-year deal. So it's official, everybody. You will get hockey back when you pry it from Darryl's cold, dead hands, is what I'm saying. I cannot wait for the post games, especially since they're on Zoom now. But what does this mean for the franchise and their star players? Sutter is not exactly known for coaching high-end talent, but more grinders and attitude. And not to say that the Flames couldn't use that right now, and it's also not to say that the Flames had a lot of high-end talent, but we all remember the way Sutter would deploy Solani and Korolyuk back in the day. Just saying.
Yeah, well, Shark centric. Obviously, I know a lot of people. One of my friends, big Alexander Korolyuk fan, and that year, Ron Wilson's first year as Sharks coach, Alexander Korolyuk had his best year as a NHL player. So, that kind of you're known for the razzle dazzle skill. Why are you penalty killing and stick checking? You know what I mean? But even for something more recent, like you look at the stats, and everybody's going to say what they want about Dustin Brown, but you look at the time, before Darryl Sutter took over, Dustin Brown was a very productive power forward. Obviously very physical player, but also really good offensively. Darryl Sutter comes in, Brown's points plummet. Darryl Sutter leaves, all of a sudden Dustin Brown is good at offense again.
Yeah, it should be.
I kind of feel like that tells you everything you need to know.
It should be real interesting to see how that goes. Quickly back to the.
I just want to say, just really quick, I'm waiting next season. Johnny Gaudreau is going to have 27 points, and the Sharks are going to trade for him for a peanut.
Wow.
Let's see. Our buddy 21 Pucks evidently grabbed one of the warm-up jerseys for $5.59. So, who'd you get, buddy? That's what I want to know.
Don't think I'm not pulling up that site right now to check. Let's see. $5.59. Who you got? 21 Pucks. That looks to me to be. Oh, weird. None of these went for $5.59. What website were you on? Is there a website we don't know about?
Fanaticsonly.com.
In other news, the Vancouver Canucks announced that they are not considering a coaching change and actually want to sign their coach to a contract extension. Good luck with that.
I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I like Travis Green. It's not Travis Green's fault that Jim Benning let all of their good players go.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. In The Athletic this past week, oh, Lord almighty, a former Sabres captain who wished to remain anonymous, you coward, called the NHL team in Buffalo a laughingstock, while another former captain called them unwatchable. So I'm sure morale in the room is at an all-time high right now.
Those poor guys.
Hey, you know what, though? Jeff Skinner scored today.
Wait a minute. He wasn't scratched?
No, he played, and he had a goal. The $9 million man got his first goal this year.
Jeez. Blackhawks defenseman Brett Seabrook is effectively retiring, being placed on LTIR reserve until his 8-year, $55 million contract expires in 2024. Fun. Ottawa's Tim Stutzler. I'm always going to say it like that in the pervy Nazi voice. Stutzler is your NHL Rookie of the Month with 10 points in 14 games. Currently, the rookie has, just 1 point behind former Sharks draft pick Josh Norris. And meanwhile, that lazy bum Chris Tierney only has 9 points, which is, one more point than 15 of the 20 forwards that the Sharks have played this season. So, good news. Speaking of the young Sharks, San Jose Barracuda split a pair against the San Diego Gulls. Currently, the Cuda 4-3-2 sit third in the AHL's Pacific Division. And, of course, just like their big brother, the Henderson Silver Knights are currently in first. Like I said earlier, with the Barracuda, the current leader in goals with 6 and points at 9 is Joachim Blichfeld. Meanwhile, in 9 games played so far, Ryan Merkley had, until last night, 2 points, now has 4.
I'm going back a little bit. Did you see 21 Pucks? They said, Fanatics, don't disrespect me like that.
F those guys. So I did mention something about a giveaway here before we start to pack it in. Here's how to win. If you're an iTunes user, give us 5 stars, leave us a nice review. We're going to randomly pick 3 reviews over the course of this week and announce the winners on the next show next Sunday. So make sure you add in your Twitter or your YouTube or your Insta or whatever handle so we know who to talk to to get you your bobblehead. So we got 3 people that are going to win, provided I see 3 new iTunes reviews. So anyway, watch this space. Comment of the week. This.
Here we go.
It's time.
Oh,
Dun,
this is this. Oh, here we go. So, this taken from Reddit this past week. San Jose Sharks mobile shop. What happened? I was looking to see if they had any hats in stock, and the link I used It says that the domain is not registered anymore. Does anybody know what happened? Did it change to a different web address, or is it no longer in existence? Now, for those of you who actively follow Teal Town, you know, and you've known for 2 months that URL was going away because Fanatics and the Sharks parted ways. So I think what we're trying to say here is the more you know. And I think one of the ways you can know things is to pay attention to Teal Town USA.
Well, not even that, but dude, you posted that article on Reddit.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Just saying. Let's get into comment number 2 coming from Facebook. Boy, I hope this doesn't start anything. If you have anything negative to say about this game, this team, this front office, or coaching staff, you are not a true fan. Move along. This was following a Vegas game, by the way.
Is this an intern? Is this someone who works for ticketing? Who is this?
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I've tried watching a game with my head in the sand, but you can't really see a whole lot of what's going on. So I'm surprised that this person even knows what's going on.
And finally, this is the one Jerk's going to go to town on. Like I keep saying, here's the plan. Trade Kane for a first or Laine. Trade Couture.
God.
Trade Jones or Dubnyk. Trade Pickles. Cut Sorensen. Cut Nieto. Let Marleau get his record and he'll be gone. Keep LeBanc, Meyer, Hertl, Gambrell, Donato, Leonard, Burns, Karlsson, Balser, Schimmick. Call up players and see if they're ready and get them NHL ice time. Call up Melnichek or Kornosh. Get them switching reps while we scratch or trade Jones and Dubnyk. Use our picks on things that we need moving forward or the best player available. This is a rebuild, wholesale, and start over. And since people don't understand what I mean by wholesale, fire Doug Wilson and every single person in management and start over from top to bottom. That obviously includes firing Coach Bugner. Where to begin? First off, I'm dying to find out who your trade partner is for Jones and or Dubnyk.
Yeah.
Dying to know who that's going to be.
Who's going to give you a first for Kane?
Well, okay, so that's where I'm going to start since it's at the top. A first for Kane, I think that's believable. It's not a first plus, it'll be just a first. But I actually could see that happen. Legitimately, I could see it happen. Laine, give me the address for your dispensary because you're on something. Okay, Laine is one of the elite goal scorers in the game. Will score 40 in his sleep. At the very least, it's Kane and a first and LeBanc and Middleton. You're dumping a package for Laine if that's what you're doing. Trade Couture. Why?
Literally the only consistent guy who's the only one producing consistently. Now, I will play devil's advocate here. If you're going to do a full rebuild and blow everything up, it is probably the piece that would return the highest value.
Sure, but do you also want to have a new captain once again after the previous captain just got situated in his role?
No, of course not.
Trade Jones or Dubnyk. Trading Jones, I say good luck to you. Dubnyk, again, I think that's within the realm of believability. Minnesota retained salary on Dubnyk, so he's only costing the Sharks here. Let me do a little quick check here. 2.166667 against the salary cap. And because that was the first time he had his salary retained, should the Sharks trade him elsewhere, the Sharks would also be able to retain some salary on him as well because you can retain a salary twice. Mm-hmm. So that's obviously would be a low-cost option for somebody who's making the playoffs. So, again, I don't think that that's going to be the solution to the problem, but it's within the realm of believability. So I'll concede that point. Trade Pickles. I don't know who that is. I know him as Vlasic. I think Pickles is a dumb nickname. No, I'm just kidding.
Who's taking that deal?
Same as Jones. It's you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who says, "Yeah, give me this underperforming player free of charge, no problem." Cut Sorensen.
Why?
That's not really how that works.
Exactly.
I mean,
It's like, Chief, he's on the final year of his contract. I think what you're saying is leave him on the taxi squad.
That said, I do think, some team, Pittsburgh, looking at you, will look at Sorensen and say, hey, that's a player that we can get 10 goals out of. Because that's how Pittsburgh operates. They get players you've never heard of and put them with Crosby, and it's lights out. Cut Nieto. See Couture. Why? You need somebody to kill penalties. You need somebody who knows how to skate. That's what Nieto is. Let Marlowe get his records and he'll be gone. I agree with that. I think that's the smartest point this person made. Because
Well, dude, let's be honest.
I'm probably the only Sharks fan who gives a shit about this record. I don't. Like, oh, congratulations. Like, it's really cool, but I don't think you need to commit a whole season to it.
Stop ruining my hockey team.
all the players this guy wants to keep, those are all good players. I'm chilling, whatever. Call up players and see if they're ready and give them NHL ice time.
Isn't that like
they're
what we're doing?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, call up Melnichuk or Koronash. I mean, you say that like it's an option. Like, if you trade Jones or Dubnyk, that's your only choice.
You're right.
Use our picks on things that we need moving forward.
That's
so
literally what we did.
Yeah. This is a rebuild. Okay.
So yeah, it's again, and I get it. Fans are going to use social media to blow off steam. I get that.
Well, and full marks. This guy or girl, whoever, put together a really good. They put together an action plan. I give them credit for that. But keep it within the realm of believability.
There you go. And hold on.
Dude, because let's say right here, right now, if Winnipeg says, Columbus, if Columbus says, hey, give us a Vander Kane, we'll give you line A. Like, Doug Wilson is shaking that hand and he's out the door in his car before anybody realizes what's going on.
Absolutely. And hold on, we got a comment here from the chat. What is it? V something wagon? VIJ Wagon. I think your 11 million guy has 2 goals. Now, sir, I have to correct you. It's 11.5 million, and he only has 1 goal. So get your shit.
Thank you. Jeez.
Also, we
care about facts here, sir.
But we also haven't talked about Erik Karlsson for at least 15 minutes.
Who?
Exactly.
I have no idea who that is.
Oh my God! All right, so finally.
That person says that as if we've spent the last hour defending Karlsson.
Clearly, he doesn't care.
I wanted to let everybody know because it is something that we haven't touched on in quite some time. Touch it. I feel like it just needs to be called out because we haven't talked about it in forever, but it is true. It's been confirmed. Fanatic still does suck. So this
they
beautiful,
are not interchangeable.
This beautiful piece of merchandise came out of the Fanatic shop. I know it's an Adidas shirt, or jersey, but it's that's a Fanatics customization job. Clearly, now I couldn't find it, but I heard that there was also a similar screw up where it had 65 all around, but Couture on the nameplate. What we're saying is that Fanatics, they're still retarded.
If you ask Gen X, they're the same players, so that's fine.
And that $19.5 million contract is amazing.
Yeah, dude.
But, Jerk, can I ask you a question?
Sure, if you must.
What if it was purple?
Oh, my God.
If my high school had a hockey team, that looks like something they would have worn.
I worked hard on that. I was expecting a bigger reaction.
I mean, I think it goes without saying at this point. It should be purple.
There you go. All right. Oh man, yeah, we ran long again. And
yeah, speaking of purple, are we almost done?
Yeah. And I cut a couple things.
Apologies to Matt Damon.
Yeesh. Yeah, you can follow her at rbackhander76. You can follow him at hockey_jerk. Follow me at AJ_strong. If you have any questions or topics you'd like to hear us discuss, you can send them to us at Pucknologist on Twitter. Again, It's giveaway time, kids. So here's how to win. Give us 5 stars. Leave us a nice review on iTunes. We will randomly select 3 this coming week and announce the winners on our next show. Make sure you add a Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, whatever handle so we can find you on the social. Famous last words to you, Rocket.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rocket Backhander. My famous last words for this evening is, well, we got through those 4. Let's try to get through the next week. 56-game preseason, baby.
Famous last words, Jerk.
Famous last words. Well, as I said before, the Sharks trudged through this last week. They got 3 points. Not ideal, but at least you got points. Game against St. Louis, 2 games against Anaheim. I mean, these are all 3 games that I think the Sharks could very easily get 2 points in.
As a whole?
Each one. I think, St. Louis being ahead of the Sharks, if the Sharks win in overtime, really not that big of a deal because you're not catching St. Louis anyway. Anaheim is a team you're trying to catch for some reason. So obviously you want to win.
Keep pace with, but go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, 2 things can be true.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to win both of these games in regulation. I mean, even with everything that's happened this year, I could see the Sharks rattle off 3-game win streak here if they get their head on straight. I could also see them lose all 3. So kind of a mystery.
With the same goaltending?
Doobie, dude. Light up that doobie.
Doobie, doobie, doo. Well, I know they were playing when we went on air, so I haven't had a chance to look, but let's see here. My famous last words, Joe Pavelski still leads the Dallas Stars in goals, assists, and points at 22.
He had a goal tonight.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he scored his 12th of the year.
All right, so 23 points. Holy crap. 23 points.
Would you say that he's good?
I think so. I think so. Last I looked, Brent Burns and Joe Thornton had the same amount of points, despite Jumbo playing 8 fewer games. Joe Thornton has the same amount of points as Shimmick, Vlasic, and EK65 combined. That's always fun. Also, Josh Norris leads the Senators in assists with 11, which would tie him for the lead on the Sharks with Meyer and Kane. Fun when you go look at the numbers, isn't it? It makes something that you thought might have been mildly depressing damn near suicidal, is what I'm saying. No, I don't want to joke about that, but either way. It's, I think we kind of said this at the beginning, and it's proven to be true. This team, it's things are going to get worse before they get better, kids.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it might last for another couple of years, but we shall see. I mean, I got to be honest with you. If there was ever a time that you don't want to go to a game, this would kind of be it. Like, COVID is almost a blessing in disguise right now. You know what I mean? If I'm a Vegas fan, a Tampa fan, Toronto, like, I'm upset because I'd really want to go see my team kick ass. Like, it's almost a blessing.
Yeah,
it's funny that you say that because Vegas and Tampa are allowing fans.
Yeah, well, San Jose is going to allow fans too, but the thing about it is they're going to be so overpriced that nobody's going to be able to go. And
that's why there's the secondary ticketing market.
So, okay, let's talk about real quick. This is going to send us home. As for those who don't know, I live in Vegas, and so I was like, "Hey, what will it cost to go to the game when the Sharks are here?" $300 per ticket. Yeah, I'll watch on TV.
Does that come with a limo?
Fuck, dude, no.
Nothing. Beer? Nothing.
Yeah,
No.
free snacks.
Dude, three bills for one ticket.
Are you allowed to use? Is that just the edge of the seat, or can you use the whole seat?
I fucking hope
You club
get the
level
whole
with
row.
that?
The whole row, I hope.
Dude, that
Yeah, I mean, it's not a secret that Vegas tickets are expensive, but $3 to see them play a shitty team, like, huh?
Dude, that's a kick in the balls, or what Gabriel did to Reeves. Same.
Watch out for your cornhole, buddy.
Cornhole. Cornhole. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave us that review on iTunes. Find everything on tealtownusa.com. afterdark.com. Remember to check out After Dark, our post-game show that goes live after every single Sharks game. And that's it. 123 is in the kids. It's for the kids. No, 123 is in the books. That's it, kids. That's the show. Thank you so much for watching or listening, and we will catch you all next week. The same bat time, same bat channel, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. See you then.